Alright, so I've been on a lot of the forum pages here recently, as I typically do. A lot of the long-range shooting forums, a lot of the different Facebook groups. I tend to surf around on there and see what people are saying from time to time. And I've noticed a trend when it comes to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, the 6.5 Creedmoor, as many of you know, has been around for, I do believe, a little bit over 10 years. Probably going on 15 years at this point. It's a cartridge that has a parent case of the 30TC, so 30 Thompson Center, neck down to 6.5 to create the 6.5 Creedmoor. One of Hornady's cartridges, been a great success. And in the very beginning, there were issues with the 6.5 Creedmoor. I know because it's an older cartridge, because people have such a short attention span, short memories these days. People don't remember. But when 6.5 Creedmoor was first initially produced, there was some talk. Now, I never ran into this, but I had heard about it. I've seen a lot of different videos about it. Issues of the 6.5 Creedmoor having an issue with the headspace dimension and different throat dimensions in different rifles that were being put out, and ammo wasn't fitting, wasn't chambering in certain rifles. So there was that issue early on. I know that's been long rectified, but the 6.5 Creedmoor is a fantastic cartridge. Now, when I say, I know the title says 6.5 Creedmoor, what happened to the 6.5 Creedmoor, but that's really just to go along with like the video that we did the other day of what happened to the 224 Valkyrie. And in the same fashion as that, I think a lot of people mistook what I was actually saying in that 224 Valkyrie video. I was not trying to say that it's a dead cartridge, that it's a bad cartridge. I was just saying that because same problem that we've had for so long here, so recently, people have such short attention spans. People wanted to give up on a cartridge that when it came to market still had some hiccups and some growing pains, which most cartridges do. Most cartridges, when they come to market, the manufacturer can think they have all the bugs ironed out, but once you start putting it out there to millions and or thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of shooters, you start seeing problems that you're not going to recognize in your small sample size. So that goes along with a lot of new cartridges. That's what I was trying to get at, and that's kind of something that actually happened to the 6.5 Creedmoor. But because the 6.5 Creedmoor was kind of an innovation in a sort, so the 6.5 Creedmoor is one of the first cartridges that they used as far as building the cartridge around the bullet. Now, what do I mean by that? The 6.5 Creedmoor was a cartridge that in the very beginning was designed around these newer, long, heavy for caliber bullets that we were starting to see back in the time of the 6.5 Creedmoor's creation. And because we had these new, long, heavy bullets, they actually built the 6.5 Creedmoor around rifles with a faster twist rate, with longer throats, so that they could chamber these long, heavy for caliber bullets. And the 6.5 Creedmoor was probably one of the first ones that in a large scale really showed us that bullet technology can be more important than velocity in many cases. So I give the 6.5 Creedmoor a lot of credit for what has happened to precision rifles nowadays. And I think because, like I said, people have such a short attention span, we'll go back to that again, because people have such a short attention span, when you look on these forums, and there's all the time you'll see on these forums or these Facebook groups, you'll see people post and ask, all right, this is my plan to get this type of barrel, this type of chassis, whatever, and I'm going, what cartridge should I chamber it in? You know, they'll put a little survey up there, and, you know, people will pick different ones. And 6.5 Creedmoor is typically one of the cartridges. New shooter, new rifle, first precision rifle. Fantastic cartridge for that application. But inevitably, every time you'll see in the comments, look at the 6.5 Creedmoor guy jumping on the 6.5 Creedmoor bandwagon, the all sorts of nicknames for 6.5 Creedmoor shooters. Now, I personally don't actually own any 6.5 Creedmoors. I've shot a lot of 6.5 Creedmoor. I've got many videos of Joey shooting 6.5 Creedmoor. We have videos, you know, comparing my 6 Creedmoor to his 6.5 Creedmoor. And 6.5 Creedmoor is a fantastic cartridge, but with the invention of the 6.5 Creedmoor, because it was the new thing, the new technology of building a cartridge around a bullet in a short action, because they had done all these new things and allowed us to chamber these big heavy bullets in a short action cartridge, people that bandwagon grew pretty quickly, and many other manufacturers, many other cartridges started to come out of the woodwork that did a lot of the same thing in lighter bullets, smaller bullets, faster bullets, that faster cartridges that allowed a flatter trajectory, less recoil than the 6.5 Creedmoor. And with the 6.5 Creedmoor kind of getting left in the dust, so it was the new kid on the block. As soon as I actually kind of would say that 6.5 Creedmoor went a long way into helping popularize PRS. PRS shooting seemed to have grown with the 6.5 Creedmoor itself. So I think that it probably had a large part in making PRS shooting and precision rifle shooting in general as popular as it is today. And I think a lot of people just kind of left it in the dust to all these smaller 6mm no recoil cartridges that allow them to be better at the sport that they shoot, which is PRS. But I think when you're looking at somebody who's asking what their first cartridge should be, I think 6.5 Creedmoor is a fantastic choice. And it always bugs me to see people say, oh, 6.5 Creedmoor is a boomer cartridge, or you're jumping on the bandwagon, there's so many other better cartridges. There may be better, there's many other cartridges that are flatter shooting, that have much less recoil. These things that you would think for a new shooter getting into precision rifle is going to be extremely helpful, but there's also a lot of downsides that come along with those things. So with your flatter shooting, less recoil, higher velocity ammo or rounds, typically you get much less barrel life. So when you're a new shooter, you're learning the craft, you're going to burn out a barrel or two. And with a cartridge, it's going to get more barrel life. And I would argue you'll actually learn more. So I actually, I've told the story before, 308 Winchester was the first cartridge that I ever really started shooting at any sort of long or extreme distance. And this 308 Winchester, I think because I learned on 308 Winchester, which, as many of you know, is not a very flat shooting cartridge, big, heavy, short bullets that don't have a lot of velocity. And because I learned with that 308 Winchester, I believe that went a long way into helping me progress with these other cartridges once I started getting into these flatter shooting, high BC, super fast velocity, super flat shooting cartridges. I think I was much better prepared once I got into that because I started with the 308. The 308 teaches you about controlling recoil, teaches you about trajectory, really what it takes to dial in your trajectory right when you've got a fairly arching trajectory. So the 6.5 Creedmoor goes along with that. It's not as flat, it's much flatter shooting than the 308, but it's much less flat shooting than a lot of these other cartridges. And I think the 6.5 Creedmoor is not only a fantastic first cartridge, I think it's probably maybe the best choice out there for somebody wanting to get into long-range precision shooting. So that's kind of what this video is about. Is I hate seeing people say on these forums and all these different posts that don't get into 6.5 Creedmoor. I think it's probably one of the best choices. You're looking at a new shooter, typically not a hand loader, so you're going to be able to find ammo on the shelves. So many different companies have adopted 6.5 Creedmoor, do ammo for 6.5 Creedmoor. There's barrels on the shelves pretty much everywhere for 6.5 Creedmoor. 6.5 Creedmoor has been adopted so heavily by all these different manufacturers, and is a typically flat shooting cartridge that gets a long barrel life. I think it's an excellent choice for somebody who's wanting to get into 6.5 or wanting to get into precision shooting. So that's what I wanted to say. I hope if you're looking to get into precision shooting and you're one of those people posting on those forums or those different pages and asking people, you know, what should your first cartridge be, and people are trying to turn you away from 6.5 Creedmoor, take what they're saying with a grain of salt. So I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.